NJPW.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the new WrestlePurists Worldwide. I'm your host this evening, Ibu of WrestlePurists, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman, and I'm joined as usual by the boss man himself, the chairman, Montel of WrestlePurists, and we're joined by not just a special guest, but our new co-host, the returning Anna. You guys have probably seen her in past WrestlePurists podcasts. If you're an OG, you've seen her on Girls on Graps. You've seen her on WrestlePurists Divas and various other podcasts over the last 2 years. But Anna's finally back with us. She has rejoined the WrestlePurists family now as the new co-host for WrestlePurists Worldwide. So we're really excited about that. A lot to get into tonight between Forbidden Door and some other wrestling happenings. So we'll talk about all of that. But first, guys, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe as always. Anna, how are you doing today? Talk to the people. Where have you been? Have you been having journey? Like, what's going on with you? Catch up with us. Talk to us. What's going on with you? How are you feeling?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you, everyone, for this is so cute. It's so exciting. Every time that I come back, I always think people forgot about me. So it's always so nice when I see that people actually want to see me. So I really appreciate
the live
you
chat is
so much.
popping.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. This makes me really, really happy. I'm really glad to be back. Yeah, I've been doing good. I had some health issues for the past couple months, so I had to step away from the podcast. That's also why we didn't do Girls and Grabs for a few months now. But now I'm back and I'm here officially, hopefully every week for Worldwide, and this is kind of the lineup of the original WrestlePurists podcast when I first joined. So it's really the throwback 2022. So I'm just really glad to be back, and I hope I can entertain you guys and you guys like watching us as well.
Yeah, no, we're really happy to have you back, Anna. When our beloved Joe Holbert went down with his grave illness, I had to immediately. Joe's not dying; he's taking a break. But when we lost Joe, Monty gave me the keys, which I really appreciated, and I thought, what could keep this thing going, and not necessarily replace Joe, but just take this in a different direction. That would also be good. And so my first choice, and I told you this, Anna, my first choice was you, because we saw what you were able to do under the brand's banner. And so I'm really excited to have you back. Again, guys, we're talking about Forbidden Door tonight. Big time show last night in the UBS Arena, Long Island. Make sure to get your super chats in, because I want to hear what you guys thought. I mean, you guys have a vague idea of what I thought because I tweet every 2 seconds, and we'll give our opinions in detail. But I also genuinely want to hear you guys' feedback because I've seen a lot of different opinions on the show. So let's get some of your takes. I want to get into some of those for sure. Remember, always like the video, comment, super chat as always. Montel, you're sitting now in the passenger seat this week. How are you feeling, sir? Yeah, how are you feeling, sir? Also, where's my paycheck?
I mean, we had some tax issues this month, so we're getting around to it. The payroll people, they're onto it. Don't worry, we haven't forgot about you.
Yeah.
But, I'm gonna enjoy putting my feet up in this passenger seat role. It's something new. But I tend to enjoy doing these things. Like whenever I used to go on Late Night Grin or anything like that. I like this role. I like this role for me.
Absolutely. Listen, we already have 227 live viewers, and we just started this thing. You guys are rolling in right now, rolling in deep, and I'm excited for that. We're going to get into Forbidden Door shortly, but before we do that, Anna, because we have not seen you on the channel in quite some time consistently, one of the big things I want to ask you about is your boy Rossi Ogawa has left Stardom, and he's
my
made his
boy.
own. Your boy, yeah, we'll do your. I don't know what reception that's going to get in the chat, but your guy Rossi, he's made a new a wrestling promotion.
Yes.
By his own admission, he was motivated by his big brother Paul Levesque to do so. But Rossi Ogawa's made his new promotion. It's called Pro Wrestling Marigold. And we're a couple shows deep now. Julia is the face of this promotion along with Utami Hayashishita. He has been blessed. He's been graced with the presence of Suri, a popular Japanese freelancer who's been on many of these shows. What do you think just in general about the existence of Marigold and how they've been doing so far?
Look, okay, I know
Right.
that there's a lot of opinions about Rossi and about like the whole way that Marigold came to be, with Triple H being like, a little bit involved in everything. But personally, I will never go against anything that gives us more wrestling and more good wrestling, especially women's wrestling. And yeah, it gives like more space for it to happen, especially with the collaborations. Now, Io being able to go back and wrestle in Japan and having the match with Utami, for example, I feel like I can never go against a promotion that is going to give me Julia versus Saray and Utami versus Io in the same show.
In the same show, doubleheader, yeah.
The same show. Like, how can I possibly don't like it just because, because if I'm going to not like a promotion because of the promoter, then I'm not liking any wrestling promotion.
Right. Oh, that's actually a good point. I remember when I was watching the first show, I was thinking, man, it'd be kind of a big swing, but they should like run Sumo Hall and just say fuck it. And then they announced on that first show, like Summer Destiny Sumo Hall. I was like, oh, that's so sick. And we immediately got the Julia Suri graphic, and I was like, that's big time. And I remember thinking at the time, I was like, they need one more big match, and this thing could really do some big business. And so, personally speaking, I'm such a huge fan of Io Sky, and I think she's already had a really nice year for herself. And it's going to come to the next level when she passes by to fight Utami, because Utami, there's been so many quotes over the last year of like how she's Io's like an idol of her and somebody that she really respects and looks up to. So that is the ultimate doubleheader for Joshi Wrestling. I don't think it gets bigger than that right now in terms of
and it was the dream matches, absolutely, and like you could see Utami's reaction as well. It was completely by surprise. It
losing her
so,
fucking mind.
Yeah, she was just crying. It is very important for her. Like, this match is her absolute dream match. It's one of the reasons why she even became a wrestler in the first place. Right. So it's just amazing to see, and I'm just glad that there's a place that these matches can happen. And I know it can be like controversial, but the matches are great. They're delivering good things. They're building new stars. Bozilla, for example, she's everyone's
what a
loving
revelation.
her.
Check out the WrestlePurists interview with Bozilla. I have to get that in there.
We have an interview with Big Boz. She's been an absolute revelation. I saw someone in the chat write Bozilla better than Wardlow. I mean, how could you argue? How can you really argue?
Yeah.
And
she's getting better at every show as well, because this might also be like unpopular, but in the first match that she had, like the first main event, I didn't really think her performance was the best. I didn't think she was really good. But now with every match that I'm seeing of her, she's improving like more and more, and very fast as well. So it really shows that the foreign wrestlers, when they go to Japan, especially the Joshi promotions, like Mariah May, for example, They
Yeah.
really grow so fast, and I think it's a great place for that to happen. You know, I'm excited. I'm liking Marigold so far, and I think Summer Destiny is going to be just incredible to watch. So.
And I think what's really conducive to the growth of these wrestlers is the schedule, because when you're green, you need to wrestle a lot with really good wrestlers. And so people like Bozilla, and in a lower rung, but like, you know, the Zeta Steels who've kind of come along, who's very inexperienced, like these wrestlers that will benefit from wrestling pretty much 4 or 5 times a week against people that are more skilled than them. That is much, much more effective than how it is in WWE and AEW, where it's like, what, you get maybe one match in the PC if that's 5 minutes, or AEW's thing where it's like, you know, you wrestle on TV twice a month. It's just, it's not the same. So that's really what it is. They're benefiting from the schedule being so frequent. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I had to touch base with you on that because, you know, a lot of your favorite wrestlers are involved. So I had to see what you thought. But again, guys, please make sure to like the video, comment, and super chat. I kind of want to get into some of them right now, Monty, before we start up with Forbidden Door. Let's see what the people are saying. Let's see what they're giving us.
All right, let me pull some up and I'll read them out. Willie, $5, appreciate it as always. Never seen Monet so outclassed in the ring until last night. Fakir is best in the world, but is it time for hashtag that conversation, or just a rare off night for Mercedes? What are you thinking?
Well, we're gonna get there. Yeah, we're gonna get there when we get there. But I do have some opinions in this match. Like, yeah, some takes about this match that, you know, some people might not appreciate. But we'll get there. We're gonna go down the card and we'll get there. But yeah.
I love Mercedes Moné to death. I do not think she was the better wrestler in this match specifically. That happens sometimes. And like Anna said, we will get into it in full shortly. Thank you so much for the super.
And that's the Sultan, $5. Appreciate you as always. Hey, Billy Boy, we coming for that international title next. DG stocks rising.
Is he gonna do it, Anna? Is Daniel Garcia gonna beat Will Ospreay?
So I have such like conflicting thoughts about this, because there's the part of me that I just want DG to win the singles title already. Like, it's been overdue. It's been years now that we're saying like it's his time, and then it never is. So I just want for this to be it, you know? But at the same time, Ospreay also just won the title, and he had the opportunity to just go around the world, like go to Uganda, like he said he wanted to do, or to just defend it more. So it also feels like a wasted opportunity for him to just drop it already. You know, if the whole point is for him to just drop like a month later, why didn't they just keep it with Roddy and then had DG take it off him? For me, it wouldn't make a lot of sense in that way. But this, I think, if DG wins, of course, I'm going to be so happy. If Ospreay retains, I'm also going to be happy. So, but I would like to see him taking, I want to see him actually losing, maybe by interference of someone, because I want to see, my agenda is DG taking the TNT title of Jungle Boy at All In. That's my plan. That's what I want for him.
That's interesting. I do think Jungle Boy losing to like a young baby face at All In would be the move. It's weird because Will Ospreay just lost to Swerve Strickland, and if he lost a second straight time, that'd be like, I don't think he was damaged at all from losing to Swerve. I don't think it would behoove him to lose again though on television to someone under the ladder of Swerve. So that's the tough part. But then obviously, it's like, we all love DG. We all think he's great. And this would be another big loss. And he's already somebody that struggles for credibility, in my opinion, because he doesn't really win big matches. So it's a bit of a tough one here. I'll say this, though. What would be more emphatic than Will Ospreay showing he actually does have killer instinct than him being like, DG, I love you, but fuck it, and giving him a tiger driver? You know what I mean? Like him finally pulling that trigger to be like, yo, I'm not playing. I'm serious about this shit after losing.
You've been on this since last Wednesday, haven't you?
Yeah, I have been. I'm pretty strong on it. I think something along those lines may have to happen here. Only because it's like, you know, to make a fucking sports analogy that only I'm gonna get in like the people in the chat. LeBron James loses in 2011 in the NBA Finals, and all people like, man, he's just not really that dude. And it took all of next season for him to really show he actually was that guy. And I think Will Ospreay coming guns blazing here. This is like the start of a new season for him. He has to have his head down and be dead serious and just fucking kill him.
Yeah.
I think
either.
Go ahead.
Yeah, either that or like Don Callis doing some bullshit and causing DG to lose, but then Osprey being pissed and causing like the downfall of that.
Right.
I think like it could be a way, because I don't think it's time for Osprey to lose the title yet.
No,
That's just my personal opinion. I think it's way too soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We'll see what ends up happening there. We'll also see what ends up happening with Penis Head and that whole faction, because Will's not really like on the same page with Penis Head, but he does love Kyle Fletcher, who also works with him. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so the next one, Chi-Town Spurs $5. Cristiano Ronaldo and Chris Jericho. They can't keep getting away with it. Anything to say about this, Monty?
Listen, that was one of the most dramatic nil-nils I've ever seen in my. I'm not going to give away my age, but a long time,
Monty's 37.
My long life of watching football. That is one of the most dramatic nil-nils I've ever seen. I think my US friends like Ibu, Ayo, Anna, do you watch football at all?
Yeah, I've been following the Euros. Yeah,
see, this what I mean.
Because I'm in Belgium, so I was just
Real?
watching Belgium lose a few hours ago.
Well,
so.
yeah, but yeah, man. I think our US friends need to be watching. Like, even if it's just like the World Cup and the Copa America, the Euros and stuff like that. Then I don't know. I'd compare it to like how I just watched the playoffs. Something like that, because like, the drama. Bro, Ronaldo started like crying his eyes out mid-game because he missed the penalty. Like, this is like LeBron missing a free throw
in a crucial moment.
Yeah, and like crying his eyes out when there's still a quarter of the game left.
Oh
like,
no! Oh,
it was crazy, bro.
Weird.
I've never seen anything like it.
That's really weird. Yeah.
It was crazy. But anyway, this is a wrestling podcast.
Thank you, Chi-Town. We appreciate the super chat. Dragon Master Adam, €2. Only here for Anna and her raving about ZSJ. Well, you will absolutely get Anna and her raving about ZSJ very, very soon. Kaden Lee, the performance center, $199. R-Truth versus Drake Maverick is better than Naito Mox. Maybe so. That was a pretty bad match. We'll
not out the question.
We'll try to figure out why it was as bad as it was, but not a good night at the office for Tetsuya Naito or John Mox.
I think this is how we can try and get EB to actually watch this match,
No, yeah, see that, Anna, this guy, Caden, his weekly bit is to try to get me to watch this, and he's a piece of shit, and he won't leave me alone. So I don't really get it.
How long is this match?
Family, man,
I don't know. I told him I'd do if he paid me. I genuinely said, I think
this is a worthy project to see if it's better than Mox night or last night, So
Caden, if you send me money, I'll watch this match.
He does every week.
No, it has to be directly to my fucking bank account, like a Cash App, brother. Darren Walker, €5.
£5, appreciate it.
Hey,
you want to read this one, Anna? Go ahead.
Sure. Great to see my number one fan is here. Welcome back, Anna. Thank you, Darren. And are you looking forward to All In? Yes, I am. I have tickets, but I still don't have tickets to go to London. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, thank you so much, Darren. He's always been like, number one supporter, but apparently I'm also his number one fan. I do appreciate you a lot. Thank you.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. Got to get Anna to All In, We'll get a
just send super chats. Let's go. I need the money.
Brainbuster, $2. Rest in peace, Tetsuya Naito. I mean, that's a bit dramatic, but
You know what I noticed, Monty, and I won't get too into it now because we have a lot to get to, but I'm always a year ahead on a lot of things, and then people usually throw rocks at me, and then I get the shit. Can I curse yet? Are we past the threshold?
You already have.
I get the shit kicked out of me, and then like a year later, people are like, yeah, I don't know, this, and I'm like, I fucking said that a year ago, you assholes. But I still love Naito. He's a big draw. It's why he's pushed. The problem is he's like one of the few draws in New Japan, but he's hurting. You know what I mean? It's hard out there for Naito. Thank you, Brainbus.
Yeah, save it. Ricky Worley, $199. Appreciate you as always. Hechisera deserved better than MJF.
Yes.
It was a match that immediately, like, before it even happened, I was like, why is this on the card? Like, who is this for? Because I know Max.
West.
Yeah, Max doesn't care. And like the Long Islanders don't really know Hechicero, and it's not one of those things where like the in-ring is gonna blow them away and be like, oh, okay, this is like what this is about. It's just it was never gonna be more than what it was. So a bit of a waste of time, to be completely honest with you, even though it wasn't like offensive to me. I know a couple people were offended, including my co-host on the Raw Review, Rob, wasn't a fan, but nothing to write home about.
Match 184, 199. Appreciate you as always. Dentist and Anna return is crazy timing. Forbidden Doors, great. He was timing.
Yeah. That was just something. I feel like the people who have been watching for a long time and who remember when I first joined know my issues with the doctor, with the dentist. And when the song started playing, I just could not believe. I could not believe that was happening to me. I thought I was gonna have at least one show to talk about the AEW Women's Division without having to talk about her. But yeah, I'll have a lot of things to say. We'll get there as well. But oh brother.
Kale 20 pesos, appreciate you. MJF, when wrestling my people, I know what you are. Come on, man.
I saw one tweet that was like, Max's effort in this match is racist. Like
straight up black and white like that.
Yeah, like he saw a masked dude and was like, fuck that. And it's just like, it was just borderline racist how much he didn't care. Hey man, I don't know. I got, what can you even say? Thank you for the super chat, Kale.
Pedro 499, shout out New Japan ring announcer Takuro Shibata. This man added a lot to Forbidden Door show, gave these main events matches that big fight feel, loved it. Yeah, man, he was great last year as well. I don't know if he was on the first one.
He's so beast. I'm not even trying to be a weeaboo here, but like Justin Roberts would just be like, Swerve Strickland, and then this guy would just be like, Swerve Strickland. Like he was awesome. Yeah, he was awesome.
Beast.
Yeah.
Jumanji Hunter, $2. Appreciate it as always. Chills when Billy wins the Owen as the wild card.
Not happening. Not happening.
It's the elite guy, isn't it? So yeah, it's obviously not going to be Ospreay, unless there's like commotion and Christopher Daniels is like, no, you can't do this. You know what I mean? Like,
manager CD walking on, he's like, actually, Young Bucks, it's in the contract. It's not. And it's some guy like, all right, bro.
It's Jay Stone 999. Appreciate you as well. Swerve has officially arrived. Kind of worried they're gonna run Hangman versus Swerve 3 at All In. Surely they won't have him drop the page. Need Hangman to take that 0-3 like Rollins.
This is interesting because I think Hangman is winning the Owen and facing him. Like, that's my belief. But I always thought of it from the standpoint of Hangman's going to then beat Swerve and reign as the world champion. And the idea of Hangman just losing to Swerve and Swerve like really, really being cemented in the main event is something I just never considered. But now that I'm hearing it, I got to be honest with you guys. I don't hate it only because it's a feel-good ending of the good guy beating the bad guy. And also, Swerve beating Will yesterday was a statement to me, like, this is our guy. And kind of like how Roman would just win all the big matches and main events in WWE when he was really starting to ascend in the last 2 years. Why not just keep it rolling? It feels like Swerve is improving while he's holding this championship. It feels like he's ascending while he's holding it. He's making the media rounds. He's going out of his way to advertise the product and the brand. It almost feels like we're immediately looking for who's next, just because that's what you do in wrestling. But I don't know, man. I got to be honest. Like, the more I really think about it, I think Swerve's doing a really good job here, and I'm not necessarily rushing for him to drop the championship.
Yeah, man, he's definitely he's running with that ball right now. Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate it as always. Billy versus Okada needs to happen at Wembley. The scenes when Billy kicks out of the Rainmaker.
I don't think that match is happening.
Neither do I. And I don't need it right now either. I've seen Ospreay and Okada have different types of great matches over the years. So it's like
it happened this year.
So I'm all right on that for the minute. Ekerto, 50 SEK. Not sure what that is. Excuse me if I've botched your name as well, brother. Forbidden Door was great. It flew by for me. The main event was awesome. I'm so looking forward to Dynamite. The women are killing it. Love to you all.
Thank
Sending
you
that
so
love
much.
right back.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
going to Google
women...
what SK is.
Okay. Well, while you do that, yeah, man.
Swedish
Some of the women in WW, in AEW, WWE, in AEW are, yeah, man. They're really doing the thing at the minute, and it was a big night from last night as well. I thought.
A lot of women's matches.
Yeah, man. It's good to see.
Yes.
It's good to see.
Finally.
And they were all good. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
there was no like mid card stinker. You know?
Mariah Saraya was there.
You know?
You know, 3 out of 4. No, it's okay. It's okay.
It happens. Dan V 999. Appreciate it as always. The correct move after Copeland's injury was Garcia winning a tournament and beating Christian in the final for the TNT title, saying to climb the ranks while others qualified for the ladder match. Dumb. Yeah, sometimes some of their logic and with things like that can be, like you said, dumb. But yeah, man, I don't think. Obviously, it's all hindsight now. But yeah, I wouldn't have been. I don't think I would have been mad at the time if they did just run a tournament and Garcia won said tournament instead of doing this ladder match. You know, so.
But I do think that it would add a lot if he gets the title as the like underdog, like with the whole elite situation. So he has the whole elite going for him, and he still gets the title out of I keep calling him Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, especially at a big stage. I feel like it does more for him than that. But yeah, the logic I can understand is kind of faulty. But for Garcia's character, I can see him being, especially now that he's back to being like a wrestler, I can see him like seeing more merit, I guess, into climbing the ranks than just going for one match and winning. You know what I mean? So I guess it does make sense with the character, but if you see the overall logic, it's just I get it. I guess.
Yeah. NJPW who does appreciate you as always. Naito, sorry, but that old age home is calling. Heartbroken emoji.
He can't even do his finisher anymore. Like, if you watch a Naito match now, he does this like counterfeit dance sequence with like his finisher, and he always fucks it up. He can't do a Destino anymore.
I really like Naito, so I'm like so sad seeing all of the Naito slander.
It does me no joy to say these things.
But I cannot deny. Yeah, it's not,
it's unfortunate.
I just hold on to like I'm literally in the same place I was last night, where it's like he's got to the point now where he's like the most unpredictable big match performer in wrestling. In the sense that like where you either get he has like 2 great matches in him a year, you know, and last night clearly wasn't that night, you know. But like you just don't know when those 2 matches are gonna come, you know, like the G1's coming up, like maybe it'll be in one of them, you know. Or, like,
it felt like midway. I'll just bury the lead a little bit here. It felt like midway. He was like, "Well, I don't have it tonight, so what do you got, Mox?" And Mox is like, "Nothing. I hate wrestling." And it was just kind of like, "Okay, this is gonna be really bad. Like, this is gonna be really fucking bad."
No. I feel like Naito, he can really go, like you said last year. The match against Ospreay for me was great, but then of course it's Ospreay, you know. Yeah, but you need to put him against someone that if he's not feeling it, first of all, he has to be feeling it. So that wasn't it last night. I feel like, especially because in the United States, I don't think he cares, you know, about Forbidden Door at all. I like he was just there for he's getting the paycheck. So he didn't care. And then you put him against someone who's also just kind of like, sure, let me do this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, God bless.
It was what it was.
It was what it was. Thank you, Anjan. And that's Sultan $5. Sorry. Oh, he says AEW annoys me. Swerve Will was a great, simple, and effective build. They need to spread that effort though, but no need for Don. People like Will can lose clean. Yeah, I think it's one of those balancing acts where they wanted to put in the story, but like Will losing could be a story in and of itself. But they want to kind of have their cake and eat it too. So I'll say this. I didn't want like a lot of Don melodrama, and there was that Don cutscene threatened to get long, but it didn't because they got back to the wrestling after about 50 seconds. So fair enough. It could have been like really annoying, but they kind of didn't go too overboard with it. So yeah, I'm just curious what the next step is with that. Like, is like Takeshita gonna attack him and we get a rematch or something? Like, what's gonna happen there? But I hear you, and I love the build of that match, and I think it's a testament to the effort they put in the build that match is so heated.
Yeah, and he did lose clean, technically.
Kind of,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. He took his finisher, like Don didn't really do anything. There was the ref bump, sure, but
but he had that blinding, distracting in his head that just like, it's like, how do you focus?
Anyway, Andrew 199, can Anna wax poetic about our new artist champions?
Thank you, Andrew, so much. But I think he probably means the goddesses champions, because artists is still, I think, Maika, Mina, and Shenna, and they won like in March. But Shuri and Konami just won the goddesses title, which is the tag title in Stardom. And yes, that's a great tag team. I'm really happy to see Shuri with a title run again, especially in tag titles. I think all her tag title reigns were great. So, and with Konami especially winning a title, so I'm really excited for this one as well. I think it's gonna be really good. But Stardom is in a very weird place. We can maybe get into that later. I'm sorry, but Stardom is like in such a weird place right now. It's really not hitting a lot for me, and I guess for a lot of people that really watch it, it feels kind of things just being thrown at the wall. I feel like they're a bit lost. But if they do this right, I feel like it can be really good, because you have Shuri and you have Konami as tag champions. So technically, you cannot have a bad match with those two, So.
Fair. Absolutely. We have breaking news, guys.
Oh no.
Per PW Insider. PW Insider has confirmed with multiple sources that Mercedes Moné was seen this morning with Shane McMahon at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. They were told that each were seen speaking on their way to their respective flights. One source confirmed that they did have a conversation about AEW.
Wild card. Let's go.
You know what,
breaking news is a bit dramatic,
Yeah.
Shane and Mercedes bumped into each other at the airport, It's like...
I'll tell you what though. Remember Monty last week when we were joking about it? We were like, "This like a 1% chance of Shane going to AEW." I'm up to 20 because in the week since, people in AEW told me that Tony unironically thinks Shane is good. So off that alone, I'm bumping it up to 20. Because
I could see them putting Shane in an Anarchy in the arena, and it wouldn't be bad, he's crazy, he does some stuff, so
now that Joe Holbert's gone and I can't get bullied for this opinion, I like Shane, and I think Shane in an AEW Extreme match would be funny if nothing else.
No, man.
I don't think
it'd be funny.
It'd be funny.
Obviously, it would be funny.
It would not be good.
When he blows his knees out again.
I don't think it would be signed. Do I want to see him do a Texas death match? Kind of.
Yeah, you're a sick man.
That's
Shane O'Mac versus Jeff Jarrett. Let's go.
Right.
What the fuck, man?
I don't. They don't need him. They do not need him.
Joe,
I feel like Tony is just trying to get people just to say oh, look how cool I have a McMahon and Mike, haha. You do not need him. Okay, learn how to say no. Just learn how to say no.
Say no, Mac. Say no, Mac. Say no, Mac.
No. Stop all this, bro. No one needs Shane O'Mac in 2024, bro.
Versus Billy Gunn.
He ain't coming cheap either, No, that's the worst thing about it. He's not coming cheap either, bro.
Versus Shane O'Mac.
That would be hilarious. Oh, thank God.
Leave them memories alone,
What do we got next?
Anjan PN, $2, appreciate it. MJF Fed. MJ Fed. Billy and Jerry Ho. Jim Jacobs go away from not the Jim Jacobs narrative again.
Jim Jacobs is he's an interesting guy.
He is, but it's just come on. Don't let's not scapegoat one guy in creative,
Imagine Jim, right?
Do all that shit again.
You read Twitter and it's like they all blame you because you're the only name they know. He's like, what the fuck? I didn't even write that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anjan.
Jumanji Hunter, $2. Wrong Billy meant Billy Gunn win the. Oh, fuck
Go
off.
fuck yourself.
Yakuza 94, $10. Appreciate you. Went to SmackDown and Forbidden Door. Pretty much lost my voice at both. Great shows, but the whole crowd was very hot and cold. Loudest matches were Bryan versus Shingo and the main event. Overall, had fun. I think that was definitely kind of like a section by section thing, you know, especially for Bryan Shingo, because I don't know, man. Like, judging from the way it translated onto the pay per view, definitely wasn't Bryan Shingo. So I don't know, man. But it seems like you had a great weekend. Good for you, you know. Happy to see it. And yeah, there were two good shows, man. Two good shows to go to.
But a weird crowd for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get into it. We're getting close now.
Yes, we are.
Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate it. If Shane joins AEW, I want to see AEW fans lie to themselves about him joining with them bad punches.
How do you spell
those? It's a typo, bro.
What's going on
here? Kurto, 50 SEK. It is Swedish currency. Don't know if you found that out with your Google search. Nigel crying after the Tony versus Mina match had me on the floor laughing. It was great. That Daniel versus Pac match, though, smiley face. Agree with all of it. Good shit, man. Nigel's just phenomenal.
He's so good.
I love Nigel.
He's a gooner.
Oh no, you are. I don't know about him. You are though. Will Chisholm, $2. Sorry, this is not 98 Shane versus Kurt Angle. That was a long time ago. That was a long ass time ago, bro. That was
that match is so good.
26 years ago, bro.
So, 1998. I wasn't even born. That's crazy.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, what are we?
Me either. I wasn't born either.
Sure.
I was like, let me get this lie out. Let me get this lie out.
Andrew 199. Nanaism Marigold card is incredible. Hashtag Bozillion.
Bozillion is hilarious.
That's what she calls him, bro. She says it in the interview. She's like, shout out all my Bozillions or whatever it is that she says at the
end. It's just hilarious, though.
Yeah,
she's a beast, man.
Is that my favorite quote?
Yeah, just real quick, get this thing off. My favorite quote of hers was like, "Yeah, I've been studying the great big men of New Japan," and she's like, Terry Gordy, Vader. I like pump my fist.
That quote made me mad because I was like, "No, you're not. Like, no, you're not."
Yes, she is, bro.
You're lying to pop Twitter. Like, you know what Twitter wants to hear. You know what's gonna be.
She's real, bro. She's real. You just hating.
No, I saw that quote. I was like, Bozo, like, you're not watching Terry Gordy. Don't lie to people,
bro. You know, she's got her dad Ulf. You know, she's got watching them tapes, bro.
If you say. Well, folks, we got an hour left. Let's get into this goddamn pay-per-view. Forbidden Door emanated from the UBS Arena in Long Island, New York. I did not want to go to this show because I'm allergic to Long Island. And people kept asking me, "Are you going to Forbidden Door? Are you going to Forbidden Door?" And I was like, well, no, I don't want to be in Long Island. Nevertheless, last night we had a 90-minute pre-show, guys. Some of this was running while we were live on air. But I don't know if you guys saw the pre-show, but I'm going to quickly just run down some of these matches. Serpentico had a quick squash match with Kyle Fletcher. Nothing much to say there. There was a 4-way tag match. This was the House of Black versus Gabriel Kidd and Roderick Strong versus Private Party versus Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii. This was a bit of more of a condensed version of like a Dynamite multi-man tag and a pretty fun one. Like they kind of all came in and got their shit in at the very end here. So this was also a nice, enjoyable tag match. I don't know if you caught this, Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know, nothing much to say after that. Do you have anything to add on this?
Was a match, yeah. The only thing that I had in mind is that Brody King needs a single title run. That's all.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
He's a beast.
Willow Nightingale. She was in with Stardom's Tom Nakano against Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe. Back and forth tag match here, and
was really good. Oh.
Yeah, man, it was good shit. Have we lost Ibu? Is that what?
Oops. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah. Tam Nakano, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Momo.
Yeah, such
I
such
was happy
perfect
with it.
team. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
I think
beautiful.
they're so well matched. You know, I think like Ten and Willow are just the biggest babyface team ever, and also Chris and Momo is just beautiful. I need Chris to go to Stardom. I would love to see both of them running at the 5-star Grand Prix. They do have spots this time, so they we need some big names. So I think it would be really nice. And I just think it was a really good match. You know, you had two of the best Stardom wrestlers and two of the best AEW wrestlers. There was no way for it to go wrong, and I think it was such a great display for all of them. So I was really happy with it.
Yeah, man. I was just happy to see the graphic. You know.
And Twilight
Willow and
Dream
Tam, you
played.
know, it's like I don't need much more than that, you know.
Yes.
I'm easily pleased. Ibu was the chat is popping because he's gone finally. Finally. Someone said the White Six got Ibu. They might have, you know, caught and compromised. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties, people. It happens to the best of us, you know. But we're just
Okay.
let me just pull this up
Yeah.
on Cage Match real quick so I know where we're at. Okay,
But
Tam and Willow
Twilight
defeat
Dream in Long
Chris and
Island. Amazing.
yeah.
That popped me so hard.
All right, Owen Hart Foundation 2024 Women's Tournament quarterfinal match between Ryan May and Saraya, which was
a match.
it happened.
Keep going.
You know, it was a match that happened.
It was
Not
on the
much
card.
to say, you know. It was there. But you know, I feel bad. Look, we're getting to this 6-man tag, which I know Ibu has been charging up all night about. You know, he's been this mystical Lucha Brothers tag team versus
Yes.
Lij, Hiromu, Titan, and Suji. And yeah, I love this, man. This is kind of like I don't know. I know because like, we've heard from AEW, like the thinking behind this was like, you know, I guess the thinking behind most 0 hour matches that like, you know, we're trying to sell the pay per view and what better way to do it. But like, this is one of the best matches on the entire card last night. You know,
yes.
and it was so like
so
it was so Forbidden Door. You know, Mystico with the Lucha Bros. Like no one thought that was going to be happening anytime soon, and here we are. And even then, who were they taking on? They're not taking on some scrubs. They're taking on Lij. Like this was this was real shit. So Ibu, I know you was fired up to talk about this one. Mystical, Lucha Bros.
Am I back?
Lij. Yes,
you're back.
You guys hear me? Yeah, so it's weird. The environment went black, and I opened my eyes, and there was this woman crawling on the floor right in front of me. And I looked to my left, and there's a guy in a rabbit mask, and there's another person with like a pig mask, and another person with like a big sign that said "Help." I was like, "Who the fuck are these people? What's going on?" And then like there's like a piano beat playing, and like a guy, you know, with a weird mask and a fucking wizard hat. It was weird. It was weird. I woke back up. I'm back here now. I see you guys are talking about the Lucha Libre tag, which I thought was such a good time. The Lucha Brothers are tagging with Mystico. This is significant because the Lucha Brothers are former AAA tag team, AAA wrestlers that are wrestling with a CMLL wrestler because they're no longer affiliated with AAA. But this is the first time this trio has worked together in a couple years. The last time this happened, Mystico was not called Mystico. He had one of his various other aliases since coming back to Mexico. But this was a lot of fun. Hiromu was in pure like meme mode, which is still fine. Titan was so good in this match. And I told AO, I'm like, man, this guy is like under pushed in both the companies he works for. He works for CMLL and New Japan, and New Japan does nothing with him. And CMLL, like he's generally a mid-card wrestler. But I think he's awesome. You know, I thought he showed out here and had a really good time. And I'll tell you what, Monty, for all this shit I give Mr. Pentagon Jr., he locks in when he's with his brother. You know, he has professional when he's with his brother and with some other.
They're a great tag team, man.
Yeah. And it kind of reminded me that I was like, man, this is really, really sweet. So, not the best version of this, because the best version of this to me is like a match of the year candidate. But for a pre-show main event, like this is way better than any pre-show match has any right of being. And I thought this was fucking excellent. One of the better matches on the entire show. And a great way to cap off a pre-show. And I guess AEW got the job done here because their whole thing was we want to sell the show. And I think what better way to sell the concept than this?
Yeah, I would honestly switch like 5 or 6 matches that were in the main card for this one to be in the main card. I feel like it was just the second that the graphics dropped for this match, I just fell to my knees immediately. It's one of this is what Forbidden Door is for, you know? Like I don't even have words. I was so excited, and it really, for me, was amazing. And I think if it was in the main card, like you said, as a match of the year candidate, I already think was one of my favorites. It was just so fun from beginning to end. And Suji, for me, like, give him the AWGP title in the next like 2 years or something. You know, he has so much potential, and New Japan needs to some new wrestlers right now to push, and I feel like he's great. The whole thing was just amazing, mystical. Like, what can I even say? But just a second, what is this anti-Penta agenda that I'm hearing? What is this about?
There's no anti-Penta agenda. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he's an interesting wrestler, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. I I like Penta. We all do. We love Penta here. There's nothing to see here, Anna. Let's keep it moving, you know. Nothing to see.
Anyway, on the main card,
we finally start Forbidden Door's main card, and again, UBS Arena, Long Island, New York, and Long Island's own MJF starts this thing out because he opens the show up with Hechicero from CMLL, who's really had himself a hell of a year. Awesome matches with Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. Killed it in Fantastica Mania. He's doing his thing, and so he opens this show with MJF, and they go about 10 minutes, Monty. And very shtick heavy. You know, Long Island's into MJF. MJF does a lot of like bits and stuff. He does the sportsmanship sequence with the handshake. A lot of that kind of stuff going on. Hechicero's trying to get him to the ground with some of his technical wrestling. Ultimately, Max overcomes all of that. The crowd wanted him to do a kangaroo kick at some point. They chanted for it. Against better judgment, Max did not do the kangaroo kick, thankfully. But he did a lot of his other stuff, and ultimately MJF got him. He beats him with his Brainbuster, which has been his new finisher. He's been doing this like spike elevated Brainbuster for the win. And MJF wins in a fairly simple, kind of just bog standard wrestling match to open Forbidden Door. What did you think of this one, Anna?
Well, you know, all that I really thought is like, yeah, Hechicero was having a 5-star match the same week, you know, with Zack Sabre Jr. And now he's here. And I don't know, for me, just Forbidden Door is supposed to be matches that people want to watch. And my only thing is like, who asked for this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who was like, yeah, my dream match, Hechicero versus MJF. Like, who said that? You know, who wanted
nobody.
This? Exactly. There was just so many people like in the card and in the I feel like that would be better. I would rather see Garcia versus Hechicero. There's so many people, Roddy, Kyle, I don't know, that I would prefer watching against Hechicero than MJF. And I just know MJF has no idea who that man is. That's why he didn't care. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't respect him. And It just came across like that. And I understand, but it's his shtick, it's his gimmick. I just think it's disrespectful and stupid. And I just didn't really appreciate the way he approached the match. And I feel like Hechicero deserved a better display, you know, because maybe that was the first time some people were watching him. And I feel like he just deserved better. But yeah. But I just love that MJF was like, oh, my hometown, I'm going to get the biggest pop of the night. And then literally a second later, Okada just...
Right. That is interesting. But to me, my theory is that if Max is on a pay-per-view match and it's not set to be one of the matches of the night, he's just like, throw me in the fucking opener. I'm going to do my thing. And I'm going to go house show mode. And I'm going to get the hell out of the venue when this whole thing is over. And that's kind of what this was. So it didn't surprise me at all. Like, I expected this kind of like 2.5-star match here. Monty, did you expect this? Were you surprised by this match, and did you enjoy it?
It was a weird match, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
it is fascinating. I think that MJF has like a house show mode, because that's what it is. Like, he's hamming up the crowd and he's just kind of like rolling along and just kind of coasting. It's like AEW doesn't do house shows, so like, where like, it's like what is, I don't know how he's picked this skill up, but if you would call it that,
the indies,
especially on these kind of shows, you know. But yeah, man, MJF kind of was, like I said, just kind of happy to just kind of let the crowd carry any sort of contribution he was going to give to the match, and just kind of coast along and just kind of move along out there. I don't think it was like a disgrace or anything. But it's just his lack of effort was kind of like evident. There was no like ideas or anything like that. You know, like I said, he was just very much house show mode. So I don't know, man. I kind of felt a bit bad for Hechicero as well because you could tell that like he was out there to try and have a good match, you know. And I did
Yeah, he's
actually
having a
like
great
the
year.
way that I like the way that he like played into kind of his heel position, being out there against MJF in Long Island, and the crowd was like really into it because of course it's MJF, you know. So it's like there was some kind of like saving graces to it, like Hechicero's effort, and I think his performance as a whole was like pretty decent, to be fair. But MJF had we got the match that MJF wanted to have last night, you know.
Yes,
So
yes, we did.
so
People were,
it is what it is, you know.
some people were jumping to a conclusion that this is just what Max is right now and he's bad. And I'll tell you what, man, if he approached a Garcia match this way or a Will Ospreay match this way, I'd be like, man, what the fuck, you know? But because it's Hechicero and knowing what Max is like, I just my mind immediately went to like he probably just doesn't take this seriously. And there's arguments to be, I mean, there's conversations to be had about why that's problematic, but to me, like until he like I said, if he approaches like a main event wrestler like this, then we have some issues. But yeah, it was just kind of there, and the show opened up with a match that the fans liked, even though it didn't do that much for me. Following this was a match that did a little bit more for me, but I didn't love the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi. They teamed up to face the Young Bucks and Kazuchika Okada, the EVPs of AEW. And this is another undercard match, another kind of light-hearted deal here. They weren't really trying to have like an amazing match. It was very much just kind of like a fun little thing. I thought Anthony Bones was the in-ring standout and highlight. I think he's the best wrestler in the Acclaimed. I'd like to see him away from the Acclaimed. And I thought he was doing his thing. And he really was going out of his way to make this feel like it was like more than a nothing match. Hiroshi Tanahashi, God bless him, was struggling to move around in there. He's also dressed like someone from like he's dressed like a member of Pretty Deadly. And I don't get that. I don't really understand the gear there. But yeah, he was struggling out there. Max Caster's Max Caster. The Bucks are just kind of hanging out. And Okada's kind of just hanging out and taking it easy too, because in his mind, this is a road to tag. So fine stuff, nothing crazy here. I thought this was just another like all right match. What did you think of this one, Monty?
I mean, my favorite part about this whole thing was probably the video package at the start where they blurred out Kenny's faces, because that did make me kind of like pop a little bit, you know.
Yeah, they are funny. The Bucks are funny.
But this shit just felt so preliminary,
yeah,
you know, and just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of a shame because it's like the problems I said yesterday when we done that stream, where it's like they started this whole thing off really with like hitting Tony Khan with a pole driver, bro. Like that's like a company changing angle, you know. And I understand that they've had kind of like some speed bumps in the road where it's like they were struggling to balance Swerve's emergence as a true top guy with this EVP storyline as what's going to be the main thing. But at the end of the day, bro, they've got like how many hours of TV? 5 hours of TV. So I don't really think that's kind of like super valid, if that makes sense. I just think the way this just feels so, like I said, preliminary, man. It just has no, like, you don't have like, no, people appreciate like Okada and people still like the Young Bucks and the people like react to them, but like it's nothing more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no like real heat or anything. And and it's kind of unfortunate as well the way that it spins into kind of like when you pick it apart, it's like, okay, Okada's came in as this big signing, and it's like Okada's been like the highlight of the EVP thing in terms of just like his little fucking one-liners and stuff that like blow up on Twitter every week, and that's not really anything substantial. And when I was watching it last night, like Okada done some shtick or something. I think it was when he went to do the Rainmaker pose and he done the middle finger and stuff. And it's like he's adapted so well to American television and just American live crowds and stuff like that. Where it's like, imagine if he actually was positioned to be like, you know, like a company changing player. Do you know what I mean? Like in the top scene, you know, top world title scene, etc., etc. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's then like this. You asked me about the match. I don't know. I went on like a little mini rant, but like the match itself was just kind of like, whatever. And
Yeah,
like, they're doing shtick, and it's just like Tanner's just out there having a God bless performance, and you know, Anthony Bowen's like he feels like this is what we always say these days about like the Acclaimed and like these little like fucking trios matches and shit that they're in. It's like, oh, Bowens is good. It'll be nice to see what they do with him eventually. It's just like Max Caster, I don't think he's terrible or anything. He's like okay. He's just kind of just there. But like he's very annoying on Twitter, and I know that like how he rubs people up the wrong way. Some people liked his rap last night. I think they're all just like so bad, like all of them, you know. Yeah, man, it's just that this needs like a shot of life. I know AO was theorizing yesterday, but like now that you know, like Swerve's going to be involved in like the story, and you know that can kind of like help bring like their two main stories together and make it actually feel big time, sort of thing. And they really need that because this story, I think this story is like flawed. I know I'm ranting, sorry, but I think this story is just like flawed fundamentally. Like, there's no main protagonist, you know. Like, we've got the big heel group, and we've got Okada, who's like the new like villain, you know, to go with the EVPs as like their ace, you know. And we've got Jack Perry, who's like the young little prick who we're meant to be really annoyed and mad at because he's getting all this, you know, self-entitlement and these like opportunities that you don't deserve and blah blah blah. But like, who's the main protagonist? Like, how are you telling a main event storyline without a main protagonist? You know, like, it's just, or maybe it'll be Swerve, maybe it will end up being Ospreay, maybe it'll be, I don't know, like whoever it is.
That's
but it's
the
just
thing. I just think it's like narratively and thematically unfocused, and they're feuding against the nebulous concept of AEW, but not really, because Tony is back there. We know he's back there now. So it's like, what exactly is his power struggle, if there is one? Why is Christopher Daniels an interim EVP if Tony Khan is still back there? Like, why is he was supposed to be there to be the checks and balances of the Bucks, but he's just kind of making up random other matches. It's very just undercooked and underthought, and even worse, I think, following following Anarchy in the Arena, it's just become so undercard, you know. And Okada and the Bucks are above that. They're genuinely funny. They're really like, to this day they make me laugh, right? But I think it's one of those things where that's just not what we need from them right now. So, like Charlie pointed out in the chat, I do hope that they really take it back to a serious direction this week, considering we have to now build the blood and guts. But just regarding back to the match itself, what did you think of this one, Anna?
Well, the match, I don't really have a lot to say as
Right.
you know. It's like 2024 Acclaimed with 2024 Tanahashi. Like, they did what they could do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's not really a lot. My only thing is, like, I really do like the New Elite a lot. I think they're hilarious. They really make me like laugh a lot. Their entrances, I just think everything is really, really good about them. But yeah, I feel like it's the same thing. Like, why do you have them feuding against the Acclaimed? Why do you have Billy Gunn running Okada off? Why is Okada running scared off the ring because of fucking Billy Gunn? 60-year-old Billy Gunn. 60. What is that?
Actually, it would have been beast if Okada, like, it would have been beast if Billy Gunn comes running down there, you know what I mean, on fire, like he's about to make the save, and Okada just bitches him and just murks him like there and then. Like, that would have been beast.
Like, why was that about? Like, oh my god.
Is he Brock Lesnar now? Like what the fuck? Why is Okada? Why is everybody like, oh shit? Oh shit, everybody clear out.
Oh my god, it's Billy Gunn.
It's Billy Gunn. Like, what the fuck?
I could not believe my eyes. Like, the second that I saw Billy Gunn running, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna beat him up. Of course. And then I just see Okada running off scared. Like, who do they think he is? Like,
it's like I've had enough. Anna, you know? I've had enough. This guy, look, it's one thing when you're a veteran and you're letting people beat you up and you're putting people over. If you actually, guys, it's one of the weirdest, like, most worst kept secrets. Pay attention the next time Billy Gunn's wrestling. He barely sells. He only gets in there to just kind of kick ass and do his little punches and his fucking famouser and shit. And then he's like, suck it. And he does another fucking finisher. He barely sells for people, you know? He's fucking like Triple H in there. And to me, it's like, bro, Okada should be murking him. And so I say this, Tony, if you're listening, or if someone's going to report this back to you, sir, throw up that Billy Gunn Okada graphic for Dynamite and have this guy fucking like, just annihilate him. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Annihilate him and move the fuck on.
Now, for me, there's literally no reason to have the Elite feuding with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Like, I'm sorry. What is that about, you know? Like I said, I feel like that is the biggest issue. That's what making them feel undercurrent. That's what making them feel not important at all. Because I think the group is great. Their dynamic is great. I think they're really funny. I know there's a lot of criticism about the way they're using Okada, but I think it's just, like, generally hilarious. And you can see he's having the time of his life there.
Yes.
But I feel like if you put them in a rivalry with fucking, like, the Acclaimed, Max Caster is a shitter. I'm sorry. Oh, he's okay. No, he's not. He's awful. Anthony Bowens, I need him to be free because he has so much potential. I think he's so good. But if he keeps stuck with that, like, no, he needs to be free. But yeah, I don't. Why the Acclaimed? You know, like, people, they had their moment 2 years ago. It's not that anymore. You know.
Yeah.
It's really not that anymore. Like, people don't care about them like that anymore. It's not because they do a chant and scissors that it means people want to watch them. I don't understand. I really don't understand. I feel like there's so many people that could be in that position and that would make the Elite actually feel important. If I have to watch another, I don't think I have, like, another Max Caster rap in me. Like, I can't do that anymore, you know?
Every rap is the same. Like,
mute.
every rap is him is basically going, I'm a Republican, here's a dick joke, and then ass boys or something. And it's like, all right, we get it, you know? But yeah.
Fox News tweets, and Fox News does an article about it. It's nasty, bro.
No, and it's just like, you know, it's just one of those things, like, it worked in the beginning of AEW because they didn't have, like, a lot going on or a lot of big names, but now they do. So, like, we have surpassed the need for Max Caster and the Acclaimed. And
Tony Khan's got those rose-tinted glasses when it comes to the Acclaim because it's his creation, isn't it? You know, and he's super proud of, like, how far he was able to, like, get them over. And, like, I actually, like you just said, like, I kind of get it as well. Like, but like Anna's been saying, like, they had their, like, big, everything's finally clicked, the hot moments 2 years ago now, and it's like, as Anna just said, it's like when you're trying to do a main storyline with, like, the Elite, and you put them with the 2024 Acclaim, it's like it's just gonna make them feel like preliminary, like I was ranting about earlier. So
AO made it, before we move on to the next thing, AO made a great point yesterday when he said FTR goes down with an injury, and if AEW felt like they had to replace him with another tag team, but realistically, they could have just found two other baby faces to put in. His suggestions were Garcia and Mark Briscoe. And I mean, my goodness, you put them opposite the Young Bucks and Okada, and if nothing else, that feels a little bit more serious. So we'll see how this evolves going forward. But at least for the pay-per-view, it evolved in a more positive direction because we got Bryan Danielson and Shingo Takagi. And these guys went out there for, maybe 15 minutes or so. And 20. 20, okay. And then Danielson and Shingo were kind of just feeling each other out at the beginning. And, like, I could tell, like, early on, I'm like, all right, I know what this is about to be. Bryan Danielson's a sick fuck, and this is going to be one of those weird, like, perverse Danielson matches. And that's exactly what it was. A lot of feeling each other out, a lot of early grappling. Danielson does the seizure selling, and I'm like, this sick guy, you know? Like, he every match he has to do this, and he does it, and he's like, oh, my nerve, oh, my hand, my arm, my nerve, oh, my arm.
He's got a whole roll of tape on his neck.
I'm like, I'm so sick of you. I'm so sick of you, you know? And, like, now Single's
the greatest of all time.
Danielson's fighting back, but he's like, my arm. Am I losing it? Am I losing the feeling of my arm?
The like, goat.
You're so annoying, bro. You're so annoying. This did not hit the absolute, like, oh my God, I am, like, in euphoria heights that it could have reached. It was not like his match with Ospreay, but it's Bryan Danielson and Shingo Takagi. So it's like the worst version of this is awesome. I thought this match was really good. It really escalated towards the end, and I had a good time with it. And obviously, it was the best match on the main card to this point. Anna, what did you think of Shingo and Bryan?
I really liked it. I was so surprised when I saw people, like, kind of not complaining about it, but saying, "Oh, it didn't really reach the heights that I expected," because I was screaming at my computer. I was like,
"Oh, really?"
I had such a good time. I was going. I love. Okay, you can say, "Oh, Bryan, he's like." I love it. I think he's a sick fuck, and I just love that man to death. I hope he never retired. I hope that he can have enough money to send his kids to therapy. Like, it's fine, you know. He doesn't. He can just keep doing it and keep going. And I thought it was so good. And Shingo, for me, he's amazing. I do not understand how New Japan hasn't put him in the main event position yet. He's just incredible. And in the situation that they are now, that they need those people, like Shingo's right there. You know, he's like such a beast, and he has been such a beast for years now. It's crazy how underrated in New Japan he is, because everyone knows he's amazing, but they don't treat him like that, you know. But I really thought it was great. I really I didn't understand everything, because I thought it was really, really good. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Did you have fun with this one, Monty? You're muted, Monty.
I liked it quite a bit. Didn't love it as much as I
this man!
wanted to.
Everyone in the chat, jump him, tweet at him, tweet at him.
I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, just kind of it went as you kind of outlined. You know, there was a lot of feeling out process, and just watching guys like Shingo and Bryan Danielson's level, just even going through those feeling out processes is like great to see. It's good wrestling. You know, Bryan did his whole injury thing, and then they kind of go in a different direction. And I don't know, man. This felt like a first. Like, I know it's their first match in like fucking 20 years, you know, but it felt like a first match where you kind of feeling each other out. You have some ideas, but you haven't really figured out quite what the optimal versions of this matchup is, you know. But it was still very good, you know. It was still very good. But like I was waiting for a match of the year contender or something, you know, or something like right up there. And as good as this was, I do think they've got better in them. And that's not to say either of them had a bad performance or anything, nowhere near close. They both look good out there, you know. It's just kind of kind of like an ideas thing, you know, where it's like they didn't quite settle on like an optimal way to kind of go with it, you know. I like the finish though, the verbal tap, that was cool. But yeah, it was a good match, but didn't love it as much as I wanted to.
It's the curse of Bryan Danielson, man. He's so generational.
Yeah.
He's so incredible that he has a 4-star match with a guy, and someone's like, yeah, you know, because you're so on pay-per-view, you're used to seeing this guy give you like matches that are like among the best of the decade. But I still had a really good time with it. A match that maybe arguably was more focused on a core concept and idea. A match that had a lot of dedicated build, a match that was over in the building, was Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. The lovers' quarrel, the love triangle, the battle for the soul and the heart of Mariah May, the lesbian love triangle. It played out before everybody's eyes here in the match, and the crowd was into it. I don't know why I said crowd like that, but the crowd was into it. And New York they wanted to know who was going to win, who was going to choose who. And Mina is playing to the crowd so well, and she's adjusted so well to the United States, and she wrestles like a star and carries herself like a star. And Toni Storm is filling in, taking big bumps and wrestling physically. And I'll tell you what, man, Toni Storm has turned it around, because Timeless Tony's matches on these pay-per-views were like consistently dog shit. Like, not bad, dog shit. And 3 shows in a row where like they've been good. And this one I think was the best of the 3-match streak. This was very good, I thought. Buzz in here, you know, just thinking about it. Mina Shirakawa's come such a long way. You know, she was seen as just the eye candy girl of stardom, but generally speaking, like one of the worst wrestlers in the promotion. Now she's out here having good matches. She's taking it over the United States, and great back and forth match here. Toni Storm gets the win, and ultimately Mariah May chooses both of them, because the segment ends with a 3-way kiss, and they all walk away happily ever after. Anna, what did you think of this one?
Can you guys see the music?
Oh, now we can.
Kinda.
The club Venus
I'm
music.
vibing.
That dance is so funny.
It's so good. I loved the whole build up. I really loved it, but it made me very scared that they were not gonna have like, you know, a real wrestling match, and they're just gonna do like some comedy stuff because of Tony's character. We've seen that a lot, and with the way that they built it up. But I thought it was just so well built. They got people invested. Mina got super over. Like, we always knew Mina was one of those wrestlers that like you said, she was very bad for a long time. She was one of the absolute worst in Stardom. But if you
Yeah.
get, for example, the Cosmic Rules match that she had 2022, I think, and that match yesterday, it's night and day. You know, like she improved insanely. I think her 5-star Grand Prix run a couple of years ago was the one that really like pushed her to that
Yeah.
level. And watching it live and seeing her the way that she just started being like the Japanese Dragon Mina Shirakawa with every match was insane. You know, like she's so good now, and we knew just by watching her in Stardom, she's one of those talents, much like Julia, for example, that you just know she's gonna get over the second that she steps into American television. Like, you know, people are gonna love her.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and it was what happened. You know, I think that was, but they built it really well. They gave her that space, and the match. I was concerned there was gonna be just the comedy stuff, and in the end, there was nothing of it at all. So it
I
was
feel
just
like it
legit.
balanced all the aspects. It's like it wasn't totally off. It wasn't too reliant on that. It just kind of came together well. Monty, did you feel the same way about this one between Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm?
Yeah, going into it, obviously we kind of had the same worries that you guys have already lined out of, like, is it just going to be like shtick and gimmicky and stuff like that? But especially with the story that they've told going into it, but they did pretty much just kind of have like a title match, you know, and that's kind of like what we was all hoping for, you know, and they did it, and it was a pretty good match, and yeah, you know, like I've had like kind of like more issues with the story, kind of. I don't think it's been like unsuccessful. It's not one of those things where I'll just say it's like outright bad. It's just one of those things that it's like it's just not for me. Like the whole like all like the goon bait and shit. Like I just can't.
Right.
It's just silly to me, you know. Especially with this story in particular as well. Like I'm sure like they seem like they're having such a great time doing it as well, and they're having fun with it, you know. So that goes against kind of like me kind of trying to speak out like they shouldn't be doing it sort of thing, because like that's not where I'm at all. But there is parts of me that just thinks that like they can still tell the story that they're telling without doing all like that sort of silliness with it, you know. Like, you know, obviously Mina and Mariah, they go way back from being in Stardom and being together in there, and obviously the Toni Storm, like it writes itself, you know, like you can tell it based purely off just off friendship and just loyalty, etc., etc. Like, I don't know. Like I said, they have fun with it, but I don't need all the, like I said, the goon bait and the you know, all that weird teasing and stuff like that. Even though I know like people like pop for it and shit, it's just you don't. But the match was good, and I was happy to see it didn't go gimmicky or silly or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's just very much Mina. You know, if you watch her in Stardom, if you watch the
of course,
it's just how she is, and it was interesting enough. I think it's one of the lesser goon baiting things she's done. If we survive the Cosmic Rules match, we can survive anything. That was just awful, and that was terrible. Like that was a dark moment. But I think I understand there were some moments I thought it was a bit much, you know, them just having Mina show up just to kiss someone and show her boobs and leave. But overall, I think that in the end, with the conclusion, the triple kiss and everything was just very successful, when it was just a fun time, and they all got over pretty well. They all connected, and I don't know. I'm just happy to see it, and I would love to see Mina more in Stardom, because now it seems like they're a little faction or something. So in Stardom, in AEW, she really got over, and she can have some really good matches. I feel like it was a great showcase overall. I think it was fun. It was fun. It was like the best match of the night, or the best match of Mina's career or Tony's career. But I think it was definitely great. And again, just like thank you, Azumi, for bringing the Hooper back into Tony Storm.
Absolutely. I have to point this out, it's just hilarious to me, because Anna's screen is now next to Monty's. I'm looking at their walls, and it's the same exact color tone. It's like they're across from each other. It's like
not we're doing a podcast about
like
in the studio.
This is funny. Yeah, so I had a good time with this. Coming up was Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. A lot of people really were into this one. Very technical match. Orange Cassidy, people noted, came out to Where's My Mind and wore darker jeans. So some jean lore is happening here with Orange Cassidy. You know, when he wears the dark jeans, he comes out to Where's My Mind. But when he comes out with the lighter jeans, it's Jane. But no nonsense here for OC. He came out and he had a technical chess match with Zack Sabre Jr., who is just an absolutely excellent technical wrestler. He is just liquid out there. I thought the last few minutes of this in particular were really, really strong, and you got some really great counters. That ending submission that ZSJ put Orange Cassidy in, it was just like, man, how do you think of this? What the fuck? My goodness. So yeah, I thought this was a good match. Anna, what did you think of this one?
I think it was very good. I think in the beginning it was going a bit slow for me, but in the end it really picked up. And like you said, that final submission, Zack Sabre Jr., the genius you are. For me, I genuinely believe he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. He's just so beyond, like, his mind and the way that he thinks about matches and he thinks about wrestling. I just think he's super genius. Like I genuinely think he's amazing and super underrated. Like, everyone knows he's good, but I don't know if people realize how good he actually is and like how special of a wrestler he actually is. I'm a huge, huge, huge Zack Sabre Jr. fan, and I'll start the agenda today. Right now, like, he needs to win the G1. Like, look at that roster. Look at the situation that New Japan is in. You have that man, one of the best in the world, one of the best of all time for me. Definitely, like, of the technical wrestlers of all time, he's definitely like up there. And you have him for years, and you just never put him in that main position. It doesn't make sense. I guess before it made sense because you had names like Osprey, like Okada, whatever. But now you need him. Okay,
there's no blockage we're gonna there's nothing.
Exactly. You have Zack Sabre Jr. and you have David Finlay, and you're like, let me see who I'm supposed to push. He needs to go to jail because it doesn't make any sense for me, like
Gato needs to
President like President Tanahashi, like, come on, let's be for real here. Like,
yeah,
I just need him to win the G1, and I need him to get the IWGP of Naito at the Tokyo Dome main event. That's all I'm asking for. I cannot handle another year of him being underutilized. Like, I don't know. He's just way too good for the position he's in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea. Zack is awesome. Monty, what do you think of Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr.?
I kind of love this.
Wow.
Zack Sabre Jr.'s mind is just kind of like on another level, very much like what Anna was saying. Like, he just operates differently, a true technician, a true specialist, and Orange is a great wrestler, man, and I understand that, like, the pockets and kind of his shtick and the lazy stuff that he does and all that stuff. And I understand, like, if you just see him in clips and stuff like that, you're like, I can understand if you don't think he's like for you, you know what I mean? And like you kind of roll your eyes at stuff, and like that's fair enough, you know what I mean? Different taste for everyone. But if you actually think he's like a bad wrestler, then like Zack Sabre Jr. said at the media scrum, you're a fucking idiot, man. Like, he gets it, bro. Like, he understands pacing, how to build a match, how to like build intensity, timing, like all these different things. The actual real fundamentals of what being a good wrestler like is. He ticks all those boxes. So even if the shtick and the gimmick and stuff isn't for you, like I said, like, to actually like say that he's not a good professional wrestler that knows how to work and knows how to do things at a very good level, then you just don't know what you're watching, But yeah, then Zack Sabre Jr. for years now, comfortably the best technical wrestler in the world, I think. Like, I know a lot of people, like, over the past, especially since Bryan's came back from his injury, as in like the big injury, like, he gets thrown into the conversation. But I do think a lot of that is just kind of on legacy, because Bryan Danielson is Bryan Danielson and he's so good, and that's been the reputation that he had as the technical wrestler guy. But like, I do think Bryan Danielson is definitely a better wrestler than Zack Sabre Jr. But when it comes to like being a specialist, being a technical wrestler, I think Zack Sabre Jr. is genuinely like on a level clearly by himself. He's so good, man. He's so good. And like Anna said, like, he needs to win the G1. But I've been saying that they need to make him a real top guy for like 5 years now. This is why I don't watch New Japan anymore, like, because they were taking way too long to get going with people who were going to be the next era, and now we are where we are, where they've only got fucking Naito as a legit top guy, and a bunch of people who they've either dropped the ball on or they haven't just, now they have to do some brave, weird shit to actually get things going again. So who knows what's going on with New Japan, but Zack Sabre Jr. should definitely be like a central focus of it, because he's just so good, man. And shout out Orange. really good wrestler. He's not the hottest he's ever been at the moment. He's kind of just around at the moment, which is unfortunate. But as a worker, man, he's fantastic. I really like this match.
Well, I didn't really like the next match. Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Hook took on the Learning Tree of Chris Jericho and Big Bill, but they were aided by Jeff Cobb, who Jericho has history with because he enlisted in his services back in 2020 to face Jon Moxley. But this was a 6-man tag and undercard one. Not much to write home about, to be completely honest with you. There were a few "please retire" chants that Chris Jericho addressed on the microphone. And the match concluded with Hook hitting a really bad Judas effect on Chris Jericho and pinning him. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to protest and not review this match. I have nothing really to say. So I'm going to just pass it along to you, Anna. Do you have anything to say about this Learning Tree tag?
Should have been in a Rampage.
Monty, what did you think? So the next match,
the Samoa Joe walkaway spot thing was kind of cool.
Right?
That was it popped Samoa Joe on the apron because Shibata and Hook. It was cute, but
it would have been better if it was
I wanted to get
Joe.
some sort of Samoa Joe pop in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, it should have been a Samoa Joe and Jeff Cobb singles match.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. They would have been able to punch each other in the tees. It'd be fun.
Great.
The next match was actually a bit of a pleasant surprise. I'm not a big fan of modern ladder matches, and I wasn't super jacked up for this, but I thought at this point in the show, I kind of did need that kind of energetic wrestling match. And El Phantasmo, Leo Rush, Jack Perry, Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, and Dante Martin. 6-man ladder match for the TNT Championship. These guys basically just kind of killed each other. They just killed each other. They killed themselves. They took really dangerous bumps. Dante Martin and Mark Briscoe both tempted the hands of God and their knees and the stability of their knees, taking huge bumps off ladders. And I thought this was the right kind of ladder match in that I was really worried about the well-being of everybody involved. And I was like, oh my God, did that hurt him? Oh my God, did he die here? Oh my God, he's dead. And that's what a ladder match should be. It should be a series of moves that just make me kind of go, oh my God, So Mark Briscoe was the heart and soul of this match. He is an eternal beloved babyface. He got the rug pulled from underneath him by that bastard Jack Perry, who wins the TNT Championship. So I thought this was really good, and I thought this up to this point was one of the best matches on the show. What did you think, Monty?
I mean, I kind of echo a lot of what you said about it. So I'm not really with the ladder matches these days, especially because they're so overdone. I think, so overdone. But everything's show by show, isn't it? And at this time in this show, like Ibu said, a shot of energy, some wild bumps, just fucking niggas flying all over the place. It worked, and the crowd was into it. And Mark Briscoe forever, that's what I kind of got to say about it. I mean, like we said on on our little pre-show we did yesterday, it's like Jack Perry's probably going to win. Like I've kind of got like my issues with like him and stuff at the moment, and like how they're telling this story, and kind of similar to what I said about like the elite stuff earlier. Obviously, he's involved in it, but he was clearly the person who was going to win this title. And as I said yesterday, and he said on Twitter as well, like Takeshita, I get like why you'd want Takeshita to win the TNT title. It doesn't take a genius to work that out, but he is going away for like over a month very shortly, so it kind of is what it is as far as that goes. So,
What did you think, Anna? Were you a fan of this TNT?
It was just really fun.
Match? Yeah,
it was very fun. I think it was what was needed in that point of the show as well. The spot, I decided to say like Takeshita is like such a beast, and I understand why, and we knew Jack Perry was gonna win. I feel like it wasn't a surprise when he won. The whole match was just made for him to win. That was the whole story overall. So it wasn't a surprise, but I still had like the little belief inside myself, like maybe they're just gonna give it to Takeshita, but we knew. And that Blue Thunder Bomb on the tables, just incredible. Man. Was the spot of the night for me. It was just amazing. Takeshita's on another level. I cannot wait to see his G1 run, and also when he comes back. But I mean, I think it was what was expected for for the result. And sure, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. Like, I don't think it
Oh.
was one of my favorites of the night, but it was
Mm.
definitely what was necessary to that point. It's like, wake me up again, you know?
Right.
So.
And you know
I've
what?
definitely got rose tinted glasses with like Mark Briscoe because like when he like when he climbs up that ladder, which is just like why is he set up a ladder on the apron in the first place, you know?
Mm.
And then like what did he call it? A miscalculation of trajectory or whatever the fuck he called it on Twitter. But like even when he missed it, it was just real, you know?
Yeah, because he's just going for it, man. Like, it's
Yeah.
God putting it on the line, you know. Like, he misses, and you're not like, oh, what a shitty botch that ruined the match. It was just kind of like, it was just kind of funny. It was like, all right, like, I hope he's not dead. So God bless. But Anna, I'm gonna approach this next one a little bit different. Tell me about Mercedes versus Stephanie Vaquer. Take me through this match a little bit, and give me your perspective on this wrestling match. This match was for the God, which belt was this for the New Japan Strong Women's belt?
Strong. Yeah,
Right.
New Japan Strong Women's and TBS title.
Right.
Yes.
Mercedes walks away with 2 belts here. Tell us about this one.
So yeah, I've just a little recap. This is a rematch from the New Japan Resurgence little tournament that they had last year for the New Japan Strong Women's title, the one that Mercedes got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that match last year, I think, was the match that really pushed Stephanie to make people outside of Mexico see her and realize how good she is, and really made her start like going on this run that she is right now. So the expectations were very high, of course, like Mercedes being back and everything, and Stephanie now being just the absolute GOAT, having like 3 championships at the same time. La Primera, like, she's amazing. And the match for me, I was expecting a lot. Like a lot. Because their match at New Japan Resurgence for me was my favorite Mercedes singles match, even more than Mayu, which is, I know, can sound crazy, but it was my favorite Mercedes singles match since she left WWE. So I had a lot of expectations on it. And in the end, for me, I think it was good. They had very good spots. Stephanie just absolutely killed it. I think she was the singular performance of the night, like the best performance of the night by one wrestler. She was amazing. She has so much aura. The word just gets thrown around a lot, but she has it. You know, you see her walking in. You could never have watched her before. You can have like no idea who she is, and the second she walks in, you're like, okay, she's the one. You know, she just comments. She has like such a presence. And something very funny happened, which is very rare to see, and I feel like we'd almost never seen this at all, is that Stephanie just out-wrestled Mercedes. And I feel like there's no way to go about it. You know, there's no way to hide it, and there's no way to, you know, go around. She just out-wrestled Mercedes, and it was what it was. You know, she was the best performer of the match, and I feel like it's weird to see, because knowing Mercedes, we're used to her being like the person that elevates the matches and makes the matches better. And in this case, for me, was the opposite. I feel she was the like slower one and the weaker one in the sense, and I don't know how much of that was on purpose to make Stephanie look good and give Stephanie that spot, because that's also something that Mercedes does a lot, and that is something that she likes doing, is just putting her opponents over. But it felt at a point that it was a bit unbalanced for me, you know? And I don't know how much of this is like an unpopular opinion, but it felt a bit unbalanced. I think Mercedes dealt very well with the whole situation of the crowd just booing her and turning on her and doing all the chants about the Celtics and everything. She dealt with that very well. The second that she realized what was happening, she turned into the heel character immediately. Like she's very good. Yeah, she's very good with that. She's like adapts very fast. But it was Stephanie's match. You know, from beginning to end, Stephanie just had the best performance. And in the end, I still prefer the match that they had last year. I feel like they could have had a better match. There was very like a lot of good spots throughout the match, but it just felt for me that it wasn't really connected or like a clear structure from beginning to end, you know? Yeah. I don't know how much of this makes sense. And I know I still love Mercedes. I'm really happy that she got the belt that was meant for her. I'm really, really happy to see her being double champion. And Stephanie is just incredible, amazing. I'm glad that people realize that. Everyone was just talking about her after this. And but overall, the match, it disappointed me a little bit, you know? It wasn't what I hoped it would be.
The best version of this is like incredible. And this was not an incredible wrestling match. This was a good wrestling match.
Yeah.
To your point, Stephanie Vaquer, like she really did come on the scene last year, and she's really just rattled off a string of awesome matches. Like every week, it feels like in CMLL, when she's on the New Japan shows. So I'm really happy for her that she got this exposure. But I think with Mercedes, it's coming out of off this ankle injury. I think she's not all the way there yet in terms of what like she is when she's really on form, and I'm all right with that. I can live with that as long as I can see her get better and better each match. As long as that happens, and I'm not going to be concerned. But I echo everything you said. What do you think about this one, Monty?
Yeah, I thought Stephanie was amazing in this. I love her presence. Charlie said it in the chat earlier. When she walks into a room, she commands it, which is very true, and it's very true with wrestlers that just have that X factor, that presence. It's just a natural thing. The way she carries herself, the way she is, and yeah, she had a really great performance out there with against Mercedes. And I do think she was the better part of this match, but I do like just judging off what I'm seeing right now in the live chat, because I haven't really checked the timeline too much or discourse and that. I do think they're being a bit harsh on Mercedes. As Ibu said, she's still kind of warming into her flow of things, coming back from a serious injury, and I don't think she was like terrible by any means. And I think a lot of the issue with the match was kind of like what the match was, because the thing is with Mercedes, she's very confident in herself and her abilities to kind of be adaptable and stuff. And obviously, we all know, we've seen the videos of her training at like lucha gyms and stuff like that. So like, we even saw it again when she wrestled that match on Dynamite against Anna, what's her name? Stephanie's partner.
Fuck. It just blanked.
Zeuxis? It was
Zeuxis. Yeah, like even that, like she's gonna try and have, yeah, like she's gonna try and have like a lucha match, and she's gonna try to do ranas, walk the ropes, and all these things. It's like that's Stephanie's game. You know what I mean? She's wrestling in the CMLL all the time, like, and she's a high flyer. She's a great flyer as well, and it's like that's her game, and like Mercedes trying to like play that with her because she thinks that's the best way to do it. Whereas it probably would have been better if it was just more so like Mercedes just does her thing and you plug Stephanie's stuff into it, and you know what I mean. Whereas like she fully tried to like have a fucking Arena Mexico match. But what I will say about Mercedes' performance, which I think was really great, like I loved how like she caught on to the boos while they were coming, and like how she like went with it, because that's a true performer, man. So yeah, like I like the match. I think it could have been better. I agree Stephanie was the better half of it, but just judging off what I'm seeing in the live chat so far, I do think they are being a bit harsh on Mercedes. But yeah.
Mercedes, like, really no disrespect to her at all. I still think she's one of the best wrestlers, probably the best North American women's wrestler ever. I do think the injury is still playing a huge part in it, because it was an injury that almost ended her career. So we can't expect she's fully 100% back to the way she was before. But for me, it was just weird to watch. Like I said, we're just used to her being that great person that elevates matches, and she wasn't. She was in the ring with Mayu Iwatani, which also for me is undoubtedly one of the best women's wrestlers of all time, and she kept up. There was no moment that we felt that it was unbalanced or unmatched, and for this one to feel like that was the thing that really took me out of it. So I could never fully get into the match because I was just so like thrown off by the fact that Stephanie was outshining Mercedes so much. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, I don't know how much of it was on purpose, how much wasn't, how much is just like a day off. But honestly, no disrespect to Mercedes, I feel like she still needs maybe a couple of more matches to get into that, the rhythm again. But like, she's still one of the greatest, like, honestly.
Right. The next match, we spoke about this a lot in various super chats, but
Wait. Are we not talking about what happened after the match?
Right.
Come on, brother.
So Mercedes wins.
Come on, brother. That's what we came for.
DMD comes on the Titantron, and Britt Baker is out there spinning and pointing, posing. She is staring directly at Mercedes Moné.
Tomato. Bricks.
Anna,
tomatoes are not enough.
Your favorite women's wrestler is back. How are you feeling?
I could not believe that. I could not believe the day before I show up in this show for the first time, they just had to bring her back. Of course. And look, okay, I'm not a hater. I really am not a hater. She's just not good. How is that my fault? I'm just pointing it out how I see it. She's just not a good wrestler.
I mean,
And I
numbers
understand.
don't lie, you know.
No, The
I'm
Miz can
just
get a
saying.
million views. He's not. That doesn't make him a good
I'm just
wrestler.
saying.
No,
Just
she
saying.
I feel like the division has really outgrown her so much that there was not a single moment that she was gone that we were like, you know what this women's division is really missing right now? Britt Baker.
Britt Baker.
Like no one ever said that. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm
speak
sorry.
for
Like with
yourself.
the whole no. The whole time, like Hangman has been out or Kenny has been out, people are always like bringing them back up and saying like, oh yeah, we miss them, and putting videos of their matches on the timeline. Have you seen a video of Britt Baker match? No, because she's the biggest case of then the bell ring that has ever existed. You know, like it's just not. She has some good performances towards the end when just like multi-woman matches. She can give something interesting. I'm not gonna say like she's just the absolute shooter the whole time, but she's not the best. Like people just don't, I feel like I don't even know what to say. Like the division has not missed her at all, and in the time that she's been away, it's been the best that the division has been, like probably ever. And now with Mercedes there as well, and I just really, really hope for the sake of the division and the sake of just good women's wrestling that while she was out, she used that time wisely, and she learned how to wrestle, and she just like actually use that to improve her in-ring ability, because I don't think it's gonna fly anymore. Like the types of matches that she has, and seeing the division how it is now, seeing the type of quality of women's wrestlers you have in that division now, I do not want to see us wasting TV time and match times on a fucking Brick Breaker match when we could have Chris or Willow or Mercedes or like Serena, Ryo Hoshida, or Mariah. I rather not do that. So I hope that she has really stepped up her game, because I like I said, I'm not here to hate. I just want to see good women's wrestling, and that's not what I've gotten for Britt Baker ever. So I know it's a big money match, and it's gonna be the big name Mercedes going against the old face of the division. So I understand why it's important. I understand why it's like a Wembley match. I do get it. I'm not saying like against it, like, oh, the match shouldn't happen ever. But my point is like after that match is done, what is Britt doing? Like what is she doing there? She can if she can't keep up, like it's a sink or swim situation for her. That's my only point. Like I really do hope that she does well, but if she doesn't, I'll be here to talk about it. So
I'm excited to see how this is gonna go. Not because I think she's gonna be particularly strong, but because it's gonna be really funny to watch Anna crash out over this every week. And we will absolutely be here every Monday to cover the state of Britt Baker and the state of Anna's mental state while watching Britt Baker. So we're going to be talking about that for weeks to come. We covered the next match. We spoke about it extensively, the John Moxley Naito match. Again, this is just one of those matches where neither guy had it on this night, and Naito's kind of cooked and didn't really come well together, unfortunately. John Moxley does lose the IWGP Championship back to Tetsuya Naito. So Naito will be going back to Japan with that championship, and will likely be taking it all the way over to Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th of next year. But your main event was Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. And Monty, when the bell rang, you immediately noticed with the crowd that they saw this different than the rest of the show. They were like, this is like something that matters. This is big time. And they got a big time main event fucking reaction. And that's why builds matter. You build something on TV and treat it like it's serious, treat it like it's all or nothing, treat it like it's the end of the world, and the fans see it as such. I kept talking about it on these fucking podcasts. Like you build something like it, like with high stakes like this, and the fans are going to see it as such. They were into this thing, and it just felt right. The vibes were right. This felt like the top two wrestlers in AEW fighting for the championship. And Jim Ross was on the call, which was nice for me. I'm a big fan of Jim Ross. And they just had an awesome back and forth 30-minute wrestling match. I'm in love with this. I thought this was just so awesome. And I'm proud of both guys for leveling up and really showing that they are worthy of doing this. And really, I could go on for 40 minutes talking about it, but I just thought this was an amazing main event match. And the bold decision was made to have Swerve retain, but a really effective and important one for him, which really, in my opinion, cements him as a real main event wrestler and not a transitional champion. Anna, did you like this match as much as I did?
it was amazing. It's one of my matches of the year so far. Genuinely, I think Swerve, he's just incredible. He's so good. He always has like such a huge presence. You know, even if he has no title on him, he just feels like a champion for me. So I do understand that people were a bit like unsure about him because you had so many big names coming in and that getting bigger spots on the show or like and he felt more important than him in some moments. But the second you see him walking in, and especially the second you see him wrestle, you're like, okay, like that's the champion. And last night, I think, was the moment that really made a lot of people realize that that's the guy. He's just incredible. I just absolutely love Swerve. I would now mind just seeing him with a title for another year. We were talking about the whole Hangman thing, but like Swerve for me, he's just another one of a lifetime. Every time that I see him, I just feel like he gets better. And of course, we have to give like a lot of credit to Ospreay as well because Ospreay's what can I even say about Will Ospreay at this point that people haven't talked about yet? He gets a lot of shit sometimes because of the way his matches are structured or the way he sells or whatever, but he's just phenomenal. You can never deny how good he is when you see him performing like that. And the whole way that the match is built, of course, the whole Don Callis thing, I get it, but it made sense in the context of everything that's happening. The referee bump was really good with the hidden blade, and Ospreay, he didn't look weak by the end. You know what I mean? He lost, but it didn't feel like such a big loss because Swerve had to almost like get a gun out to win the match. It was just finisher after finisher after finisher, and Ospreay kept kicking out the whole time. I was on the edge of my seat. I think it was just such an amazing match. And if anyone had any doubt about Swerve, which I don't know how you could have by this point, I don't think there's anything anymore there. You know, like Swerve is just phenomenal. He was born to be a champion. He just has it. Like he has the it factor for me. And Ospreay is one of the best of all time as well. So amazing match.
Yeah, Monty. I know you're a skeptic by nature, but this had to have moved you, sir, didn't it?
No, the thing is, it's like all that kind of any sort of like my feelings about it kind of goes out the window in the way that I'm going to talk about it now because it's like the main thing, the main takeaway I had from this was it was a success. You know, I spoke yesterday about how I liked how AEW have like gone with this as a main event. Like it's not too like established, known TV draws or anything like that, or top stars, but they are the future. Do you know what I mean? Like they are the top guys who are emerging and are now solidifying themselves as the main guys. And this is how you get them to that next level. This is how you level them up, and this is how you treat them as centerpieces of the promotion. You know, and it was just a success in the sense of like, yeah, of course, it was a decision to make Will Ospreay, you know, lose his first title match, and of course that means we're pretty much definitely not getting the Wembley crowning of Will Ospreay or anything. But if you are going to do it, it achieved everything in a perfect way in the sense of like it solidified Swerve as a true, like a lot of people are calling this as like this was like Swerve's biggest performance and stuff like that. You know, this was like Swerve has arrived, you know, because he was able to have a match with Will Ospreay, who many of the AEW audience regard as the best in the world. And it was like, can Swerve meet him on this level? Yeah, he did. He met Will Ospreay on Will Ospreay's level in a pay-per-view main event for the world title. It doesn't get any more, confirming than that, you know, in terms of how the AEW audience sees it. And the match itself was just like perfect for the AEW audience, you know, they loved every single second of it. If the match was solely made just for me, would I have removed a couple of kickouts and little nitpicky things here and there? Yeah, I would have, because it's a Will Ospreay match and it's just kind of, there is always things to nitpick. But at the end of the day, the sheer like level of execution and drama, like how dramatic his moveset is and stuff, just kind of overshadows it all. Then when you see the crowd react the way it does, it's like, how can you call it anything but a success? Then because the match was so good, it's like Will Ospreay taking a loss doesn't really mean shit. Let's be honest, like, because the match was so successful. It was just a success, you know. It was just a success, and it was good to see. So kudos to both of them.
It was so great that it closed the show in a way where I'm like, I cannot call Forbidden Door a bad show. I already didn't think it was bad, but like it was a little bit, you know, up and down and the crowd was off. But like that main event was so excellent that it's like, yeah, this is. I thought this was, even though I had issues with parts of it, I did still think this was a good pay-per-view. I want to do some really, really quick hits before we go to our last super chats. The first being, this morning we had a GLEAT show. GLEAT. And Katsuhiko Nakajima made his return to pro wrestling. and he makes his return to pro wrestling. If I'm not mistaken, his opponent was Takanori Ito, I want to say. And this is what Nakajima is going to do. He had not wrestled since his Triple Crown title defense with Yuma Anzai. It's been, 4 months? And he's been posting these really vague vignettes of himself. Some of them he's homeless in the vignette. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But there's a mystery. What's happening? Is Nakajima going to New Japan? Is he going to WWE? Well, he's going to Glade. And in the main event of the show, he faced Takanori Ito in a 13-minute match where he did some leg kicks and then did a submission. And it was kind of like, okay. He won the Leadette UWF World Championship. And elsewhere to be found on that show, Kota Ibushi made his return to pro wrestling in a 5-minute exhibition. Yeah. 5-minute exhibition against Daisuke Sekimoto, where the best thing I could say is that he didn't embarrass himself. So that was the great show. Yuma Anzai, he retained the Triple Crown Championship at the Korakuen Hall show All Japan had last week. He faced Hideki Suzuki. Suzuki beat him in the championship carnival. The champion carnival. And so I thought maybe that was just Suzuki politics because he is a very political wrestler. But they did have to set up this title match that he ultimately lost. Really well-worked old-school type of wrestling match. Anzai was getting bullied really badly and stiffed. But he came away with the big win and the jumping knee, and I thought it was actually really, really good, and I'd recommend watching it. So that's kind of what was going on in Japan, and I want to make a quick shout-out to Atlantis Jr., because he won the ROH TV championship in the Friday Arena Mexico main event against Kyle Fletcher. So that's very interesting, and we'll see where that takes him and what happens from there. I could see them wrestling again at the next Ring of Honor show. So interesting stuff around the world. And a quick thought on the big stuff from the SmackDown and MSG.
Solo Sikoa is not him, and Jacob Fatu is him. That's almost all that I have to say. I really do like the trio of Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Cody. I think it's a really good trio. And I cannot wait to see Randy betraying them so we can get the Randy and Cody match, which for me should still be the SummerSlam match because Solo should not be in a main event position at all. But Jacob Fatu, he just is a breath of fresh air in this new bloodline. Like that's all. Like they needed him. You know, it didn't feel like badly. He's such a beast and he's amazing. And now that Paul Heyman is like out, I can see that we're way closer to a Roman return. So
absolutely, and he'll finally get the monster babyface reaction that he always wanted, and good for him. You know, so we'll see how that turns out. But with that said, guys, let's take away with our final wave of super chats to take us home here.
All right, let's do it. Kaden, appreciate you again. 199. That Carney is gone. God bless. Who is this about?
That's when.
Yeah,
when Evo was crashed.
Was that when I got jumped by the Y6?
Yeah.
Anjan PN, $2. So is Ibu going to drop his fraudulent Penta agenda?
I don't have a Penta agenda.
Are you?
I'm going to keep an eye on that one because I had no idea this was going on. I'll be on top of that. Don't worry, guys.
I have no Penta agenda.
Police it.
I don't know.
And Jean-Pierre, $2. Appreciate you again. Twas Maxwell Jacob Trump in the opener. # noticing. Come on, man. Kyle, 50 pesos. Appreciate you. Anna, Ibu thinks Penta is a chant merchant and compared him to Jay Uso. Smiley face.
To Jay Uso?
Kale is snitching and lying. That's all I have to say about that.
That's criminal. That's foul.
It's just me, Uso.
It's just him. Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate it. The EVP and Jack Perry story started with the Punk tape, but Punk is not here, and FTR is hurt, so now they're scared of Billy Gunn. I mean, it's unfortunate, man.
When you put it that way, you know. When you put it that way. A little unfortunate.
Shaitan Spells, $5. Appreciate you guys. The Acclaimed have never put an act over in their existence.
That's pretty funny.
I'm sure they have. It's a short existence as well. You know.
You're lucky you don't have time to fact check that one. I feel like if I look it up, you know. But
Big Hero Chris, $2. Appreciate you. Billy Ass squashing Okada may cause World War III. Well, yeah, that's never happening though. They might have a funny match where he doesn't sell for him though.
Kicking out the Rainmaker at 1.
Yeah. It better not be competitive.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like that's probably like as realistic and terrible as it gets. Like he has like a competitive match with Okada, but Anjan again, $2. Appreciate it. TK cosplaying Clark Kent in the scrum needs a pop. I mean, does it? Does it? Does it? Dan V 900 999 appreciate it as always. Hangman should beat Swerve. Brian wins the title All In to avenge the Owen loss and loses to Swerve at Wrestle Dream in Swerve's hometown, which is Brian's home state too, in the final full-time match. You know what, brother? Hangman should beat Swerve. Brian. I think there's a better chance of that happening than most people think.
Maybe. Because it could be like, Brian could be the final guy to end the Evil Elite and the EVPs and Hangman. Like, if his final task in AEW is setting them on a path where the future is bright for the young guys to not have to be impeded by the EVPs, and he's like, I don't want, because his whole thing is he doesn't want a world title. If he's like, if winning a world title is what's going to save AEW and finally get rid of you assholes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the guy to avenge my loss and fucking take down Hangman. I like that story.
Yeah, but I feel like he just needed more time. If he's gonna already retire at the end of the year, I feel like it would be kind of rushed, and Hangman wouldn't have the actual time to, establish himself as a huge champion. So I would love to see that, but just the timeline kind of it's a bit blurry. But we'll see. We'll see.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it at all.
Just do another year, buddy.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Berkey 199. Respect that he asked. We still doing Punk chance? Question mark. Shake my head. Well,
they brought it on themselves.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, it is kind of corny to still do, but at the end of the day, like, that is literally what they've rooted like Jack Perry's like heel persona in. So it's like, it's tough, man. Short on Spurs, $10 appreciate it as always. I think Tony is afraid to let Billy Gunn go because he'd probably end up back with Triple H. Probably something he shouldn't care about, but Tony would.
The thing is, Hunter, it's understood that if Billy wanted to go to WWE, he'll like be right there in Gorilla sitting with Hunter and all the guys. But Billy likes being in AEW because they let him wrestle, and Hunter wouldn't let him wrestle. So,
yeah. And also, which WWE fans like, you know who we miss?
Billy Gunn. Like. If Billy Gunn went to WWE, he literally would just be in gorilla position making dick jokes while Triple H is like on the headset. So.
Yeah.
Corey David, $2. Ibu, do you think Natalia is staying or going?
John Rossap thinks she's staying, but I just have this weird feeling. Something doesn't feel right there. I don't know. I don't think it's impossible that she leaves.
And that's a Sultan, $2. ZSJ is the only Brit I can respect. Damn. Yes. Me, Hulbert, Charlie. Damn, bro. Ryan Sully, $20 Canadian, appreciate it. Sorry to interrupt this great pod, but breaking news. Ibu is going to be glued to his TV on July 14th to watch the biography WWE Legends The Miz on A&E. Laughing faces. Great to see Anna again on the pod. Keep up the great content, WrestlePurists. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Don't listen to it, Bill. You don't know bull. Appreciate you, though, brother. Shots on Spurs, $2. DMD in the 5-star Grand Prix. Let's go.
The way that Stardom is going, I would not be surprised. Maybe it would be a time for her to improve and learn how to wrestle. Who knows? But I would rather die. You have Chris Tetlander. Just send her.
Oh no.
Or Willow.
Just Simon 419, $2.79 Canadian. Will's last stand at the end moved me immensely. Yeah, bro, listen to the crowd. It moved a lot of people. Trust me, you're not on your own on that one. Bro, 199, appreciate it. Dragunov Hive, we up. Quote in brackets, he's gonna lose.
Yeah, he's facing Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in the main event tonight. Winner goes to Money in the Bank. That should be really awesome.
He should win. I don't care.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think he could win.
He could.
Yeah.
Because like Drew, I don't think Drew's going to be in the ladder match, is he?
He might.
No, I think either Punk is fucking him over tonight or in Money in the Bank. But
right.
Yeah. It's one of them two, I think. But Dragunov, for me, it makes more sense Dragunov being in that match than Sheamus or McIntyre, actually. So.
Yeah, then like Sheamus, I'd be surprised to see win it as well. Whereas Ilya, I could see him being like, I don't think he'd win it or anything, but I could see him being kind of like one of the guys getting a little bit of a showcase in there, you know. But yeah, all right. We're gonna have to wrap this up, people. We get through all the super chats. Yeah, we did. We didn't manage to touch on MSG quite as much as we would have liked to, and Ibu's Japan, Puro, Joshi roundup that he did as well. We wanted to do something a bit more extended with that. Next week as well, we want to try and come up with some sort of weekly award that Anna's going to come up with.
Yes.
I don't know
Give
what
me
it's going
ideas,
to be.
guys.
It's going to be we need ideas like Manny's like it'll be like Manny's Hooper of the week, but like something that Anna can do, you know.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of
Probably
ideas for a
more
weekly.
focus on women's wrestlers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we're trying to think of something like a weekly award that Anna can do. So yeah, man. I appreciate you guys that have stuck with us, especially going into Raw as Chad Gable is now being hunted by the Wyatt Six, and it's all spooky in there. These are the games we play. But yeah, I appreciate you guys that have stuck with us all the way to the end. Everyone that has watched, everyone who has sent super chats and all that stuff. But please like and subscribe on your way out of it. It helps us immensely. And we'll be back tomorrow with the Raw review. Ibu, Isra, Rob, they're going to be talking all about these Money in the Bank qualifiers, this spooky Bray Wyatt Six business with Gable that's going on right now. And yeah, man. Thanks for watching. Peace.